back to another episode of Blue Review. This is Parker Bell alongside the one and only television's Clinton Yates. See why? The Dodgers got the win yesterday, but the biggest news wasn't good news. Tony Gonsolin unlikely to pitch again until 2025 due to Tommy John surgery. Tommy John Academy, Clinton Yates, take it away.
Yeah, these injuries have been piling up. I mean, the pitching situation for the Dodgers this year has been nothing short of a disaster. And, right now, this is not to say that this is some Dodgers problem in terms of them taking care of arms, not remotely. This is more so largely kind of an American baseball problem, which is that Tommy John surgery was once considered A, career ending, or B, highly debilitating. And now it is relatively routine for guys to have not one, but two of these surgeries in their careers, to the point where some guys are even getting them preemptively. You'll see between high school and college, or between college and going pro. And there's a whole larger discussion to be had here about pitching mechanics and all this. But for the Dodgers specifically, it's meant major stability issues. Dustin May ended up with the second Tommy John surgery, and he came back, and it was supposed to be on track, and then he blows out his arm earlier again. Walker Buehler is on number 2, and now Gonsolin is on 1, and you just sort of think to yourself, like, man, Mookie keeps smashing the ball. Freddie keeps hitting doubles. But if you can't keep a consistent pitching lineup, how can you ever expect to go anywhere from a World Series standpoint? And it's a shame, because this is going to be one of those teams where, okay, I believe Bobby Miller can get out 9 Diamondbacks at any given time, you know what I'm saying? But I don't necessarily know if that's going to translate once you get to the playoffs. And I'm officially starting to feel bad on some level for this franchise in terms of the injury bug, because for all the bats you want to put at the plate, again, if you don't have arms, and Gonsolin specifically, we know he wasn't some game 1 starter in the playoffs, but he was a bit of an innings eater in terms of his ability to get people out. And at least a warm body to be able to start a game when you needed him. This is really unfortunate for the season. And I'm not saying that the loss of Tony Gonsolin is the death knell, but it just sort of feels like one of the last wheels to fall off of what has been the starting staff this year, Parker.
Yeah, and to make matters worse, especially Gonsolin, a fan favorite, cat guy, and just the way that it happened, we knew he's been injured all season pretty much. I mean, obviously he started out with the ankle injury to begin the season, but it was reported just like 2 weeks ago already that he's unlikely to pitch. I mean, they sent him to the IL a while ago, so it was inevitable. But to hear Roberts say stuff like, he felt like he could keep pitching and, he could still pitch right now, even if that was the case, but it just wasn't productive. I mean, that's tough. And to see the contract situation, because it's, deeper than Tommy John, him kind of having to push through it just to get those bonuses. I mean, we can kind of dive into that a little bit, but
look, I'm not mad at them for that. You know what I mean? Ultimately, this is a business. Guys are here to make money. Did he risk something in the future to get something in the present? Perhaps. But, again, that's the choice of the player. That's not necessarily something that I'm going to blame the franchise for. I just wonder where morale is at this point for guys that are starting on that team. Every single night out there, you've got a lineup that's one of the best in baseball, but what happens on the bump is just a total crapshoot, in general, as far as, just injuries are concerned. So it's really tough, but we're going to go through some of these people that came back from Tommy John stories as you put together here nicely. I mean, a lot of these names are bigger names, and you can talk about them. Jake DeGrom, he had surgery in 2010, came back. May 2012, won the Cy Young. Justin Verlander won the Cy Young at an old age. Ohtani returned. We don't know what's coming up with that. He might have to have another TJ as well. John Smoltz is on this list of people that had relatively good comebacks. He, of course, became a reliever after that. Eric Gagne, a name we haven't heard in a while, won a Cy Young as a reliever after coming back from TJ. And, of course, the great David Wells, one of the great characters in baseball history. But the point is, Parker, is that list is extremely short. And that list is a list of guys that arguably have some sort of a claim to perhaps not the halls of fame, many do, but very high-tier players. The number of guys in the Tony Gonsolin range that come back and actually do anything are not very numerous. And so, Shohei is a whole other story, but I'm not going to say this is the end of Tony Gonsolin's career, but, you won't be surprised if it is, and that's a terrible thing to have to think about.
Yeah, there's been close to 1,000 Tommy Johns accounted, and that's just professional level.
Right.
Since Tommy John got the initial surgery, so the numbers don't lie. And I mean, what is next for Gonsolin when he comes back in 2025? I don't know the contract details. I don't know where he's going to be in
Mm-hmm.
terms of with the Dodgers, but is is a starting role really in the future for him? Who knows?
Right.
That's going to be tough, and we'll see that unfold. But I just wanted to mention CY, the Blue Review, as always, is presented by Los Angeles International Airport. If you're ever going anywhere, LAX is the place to go. And Hire LAX creates life-changing career opportunities for Los Angeles residents. For more information, you can go ahead and check out LAX on Eventbrite. So CY, I mean, other than this tough news for Gonsolin, the Dodgers have been getting things done. How are you feeling about this team heading into the postseason?
This is something I've been thinking about a lot because, in fact, we were asked to make our picks for the postseason for the ESPN baseball desk, and I've been sitting here thinking about it, and, it comes down to matchups. I just don't know who the Dodgers, how do I explain this? I don't know who they'd have the best advantage over in these playoffs. Like I said, their bats match up well, but a lot of these teams, you can't depend on some of the mistakes that a lot of these teams make, and you also can't depend on their pitching being as bad. And so I'm not sure yet. I mean, would I be surprised if the Dodgers crashed out in the first round? No. Would I be surprised if the Dodgers made it to the World Series? Yes. But would I be surprised if the Dodgers knocked somebody off because their bats went nuts and they decided they were going to bang out 2 or 3 starters and all of a sudden they're on the front foot? I would not be surprised by that. I just don't know if series to series they have what it takes to get all the way through to the top crown and get the commissioner's trophy. So I kind of got them in the first round. Perhaps, luckily luckily they won't drop to third, so they don't have to play that first round. You know what I'm saying? Like they're already in a jump spot, but I do think that puts them at an advantage for obvious reasons, which is simply that they have to play less games. So, if that's something that the Dodgers can find a way to capitalize on, and maybe they get sort of a weird shakeout with whatever the lineup sorts out to with the previous series, then they'll be in a pretty good position. But man, they got a tough go right now because it's a question mark pretty much always on the bump at this stage.
Yeah, but for me, even with the question marks on the bump, at least round one to gain that momentum, I would take them. I mean, I know they're going to be facing either the Brewers or the D-backs, who they just showed, they can mash on. So I'd take them round one. But yeah, I tend to agree. This is going to be real tough for them because who can you trust? Can Kirsch continue his hot streak that deep into a run?
Right.
Is Urias, trustworthy after some of the struggles he's shown this season?
I would say no.
Yeah, we shall see. Only time will tell.
Yeah.
CY, man, this has been.
What's that? Hold on. What's that hat you got on today? Tell me about the hat. What's that lid?
Yeah, I'm glad you
that's the
brought
Griffey?
it up. That's the kid right there.
Right.
In honor of, I don't know if there's anything on the back. I don't think so. Just 24 maybe. But
okay.
Yeah, in honor of the Mariners just being on an absolute tear.
Yes.
I thought I would give them some love because going from damn near last, I mean, we're not even going to count the A's, but from fourth to first, Julio Rodriguez is on a different planet. If I could have a whole nother podcast about Julio, I would.
No, they're the hottest team in baseball right now, and I will say this, baseball is better when the Mariners are good. So, good for them.
100%. All right, guys, this has been the Blue Review. This is Parker Bell alongside Clinton Yates. We'll catch you next time.